I would like to thank the organizer for selecting such a wonderful topic, that are we thinking Takaful and acting conventional. This is the statement, a very general statement, often asked or discussed within the business community or the bankers whom we deal, or journalists. And always they ask us, Rafiq, honestly tell us, or with anyone they would ask and say, okay, honestly tell us, is Takaful something different, or you've got a niche to encash? So it's a wonderful opportunity to discuss these things and highlight the salient features which we can explain and immediately provoke their thoughts on, where they can come up with positive questions rather than having a kind of a humorous discussion that is it a window dressing, or is it some kind of a niche, or it's a change in nomenclature. So I've got a learned panel here. I would like to share one experience with you. Is whenever I've tried to address these questions with a logical answer, that see, this is how Takaful works, and this is how it starts, and these are the models and all that, and I'm going to send you some literature, and no one is interested somehow. Because where are they coming from? They're coming from a conventional knowledge base. So the easiest approach I found was to give them some kind of features which they can straight away relate to what conventional does. That's what I did, and I highlighted, and I asked a question to them that it's, I'm glad that you put this thing forward, and what do you think about, say, surplus distribution? How does it work? And they say, yeah, it's a feature, sometimes money is there, it is distributed, and say, okay, fine, I don't want you to answer the question, but I would like you to think about it so you can really understand how these things work. And I said, why these people maintain 2 books? And then again I said, why there are 2 supervisory bodies, which brings more transparency. And I asked another question, I said, what do you think what happened to the conventional companies' investment in the turmoil, in the financial downturn? What happened to their capital, and what happened to the Takaful company's capital, and why? I didn't answer, I just asked the questions. I guess these are the points for discussions. Besides this, there would be a lot of points discussed here to enable us to understand and face these kind of challenging questions and really add value, rather than shying out, no, it is not like this, this is this, and sometimes it is ridicule also. So if we have specific knowledge to the point where definitely we can't send them for a training and then have a discussion later on. So I would like to request the panelists here to come up with their own view. How can we differentiate, besides their own experience from the Retakaful point of view, from the regulatory point of view, from the practical point of view, from Mr. Abdulrazaq, and Mr. Bhatty, who's the founder of many companies and advocating this concept for a very long time. So I'll start with Mr. Abdulrazaq. What's your view on the practical aspects, and how we are taking this concept forward positively?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Before I go to this point, just to express the history of Takaful in Kuwait. Insurance industry been established in Kuwait for the last maybe 50 to 60 years. And conventional companies been in the market almost for 45 years. And whenever a license been submitted as a Takaful to the regulator, always been rejected. And they established it in 2000, and they did it in a very, let's say, I would call it wrong setup. The funny things on that, they got competitors in one license. They got 4 conventional companies that were participating in one Takaful. And just imagine that these different conventionals sitting in one board, and the MD or the CEO or the GM of that Takaful expressing his view or his plan to the market, and just how this difficult. After two license in 2000, the regulator been getting more tough. And one day, I believe after 2 years, it's became like, whenever he wants to get a license, get a license. So this is really, and now I believe it's became 11 Takaful companies in Kuwait, and God bless them all. Getting in practice the difference between the conventional and the Takafuls. There is a lot of difference. We see it, as we mentioned. Today, and as a practice, we see it when we do our financial statements. We got two financial statements, shareholders and policyholders. This is contents all the contributions, all the operations during the year, and the other one, only the investments. And also there is two ways of these financial statement on the operation. One is called Mudaraba, one is called Mudaraba, Wakala. Wakala model and Mudaraba model. In Kuwait, we do work in Mudaraba model. Mudaraba model, all the expenses, everything goes under the policyholders. Nothing goes under the shareholder except the Qard al-Hasan when is there some losses. This is one of the things. Number two, the contents of the contract itself. We call it contributor, okay? On the other hand, they call it policyholder. The people, they're really not deep in these details. They think, well, the policyholder is the same as the computer. No, it's absolutely different. Number three, we do have the Sharia approvals for all the operations. We have them like, well, internal auditor. We gotta obey all their resolutions. We cannot tell them no. Even the board members or the chairman or anybody in the company can't tell the Sharia, we will do this in our way. It has to be approved through them. So it should be a Sharia compliant. Okay. And this is in a major, would say it in a daily basis, how we see things. To add things, if we believe for the other, what they're saying, they are the same, we wouldn't see all the conventionals. Takaful started 2000. In 2004, all the conventional companies, they were hurry to get what they used to call Takaful windows. They felt it, and they still feeling it, and I believe the future will be for Takaful. Also, the surplus. The only issue with the surplus that the people, they think they are the same, because technically you won't be able to make any surplus, minimum for the first 5 years. And people say, well, I'm being insuring with you and I haven't got anything back. Okay. No, it will be good. I remember I was in one of company, we had distributed 25%, okay, as a surplus for credit life policyholders. Okay. Also in one company, they've been disputed for everybody as surplus. But you cannot have surplus for the first year or second or third. It has to be at least longer. Also the awareness. We really, gotta say, yes, we did not serve our field in a proper way. And the awareness, what it would be the difference between conventional and Takaful. People, they say, well, it's the same thing. It's insurance, reinsurance, it's the same thing. It's not the same. Maybe it's the same slightly with the reinsurers because they're the same concepts, but it will be one day different. But for the time being, The policy is different. Technically, wordings, more or less, because it's worldwide. But practically, it's a difference. Okay? This is how I see it really in a short.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much for your views. Now I'd like to request Dr. Stiftl for his views on the value addition which Takaful makes to the industry. Yeah, value addition. If we have Takaful, what value addition does it does as compared to conventional insurance?
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that question, which actually is perhaps more perceivable with a direct insurer as well, who has the direct client at hand. But the situation of a reinsurer, Retakaful operator, is also very important and interesting. If I should summarize the differences, I would go to 3 points. But I had the idea, first of all, to quote a saying of George Orwell on that respect that fits in my opinion. He said, every revolution in history has failed, but not all to the same extent. Which means when we came out, we also wanted to do everything different. Pure pooling, direct pooling, wakala fee, reinvent reinsurance. That was, I must say, also my personal ambition. And then we found limitations. We found that the wheel was already in existence and we had no other way to get the car driving. But there were things remaining, and I think important things, which could be pointed out. The first thing is the investment strategy, which first of all says no interest, and I understand this as the rules that give more security and stability, the avoidance of bubbles and so on. This is discussed very openly. And the risk screening, which in our opinion is also an ethical screening. We do not invest in each and everything. These are two important things that are, of course, also existent with Islamic banking and not special to insurance, but they can make the world a bit better. And it's definitely a difference. The rules are accepted. It's much more mature than the technical rules in insurance. That's number one. Number two, while trying and to a large extent failing to apply those new models, I must say, or adopting it and arranging it in a new form, we found out some new products. Not the great new model, many things were already in existence, but we could find opportunities where solidarity directly has an impact and creates a win-win situation. The point is, innovative products are not easy to bring to the market. But we only have some years, so there's time ahead. So 2 points. And the third point I find also personally very rewarding is the cooperation we put with the Sharia boards. Abdulrazaq also mentioned that. It is a direct cooperation between practitioners and Sharia scholars. And we learn from each other on a direct basis. We are in a very early stage, and I can't really tell exactly, except those some small innovative products, exactly what is the outcome yet. But I'm convinced if these two realms of knowledge meet, it will make a new basis, and it can be shown that it makes a difference in the product development afterwards. So these are the 3 points, evaluated.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask Chakib his views on the Retakaful capacity, Retakaful support for the Takaful operators, as many times conventional players blame us that you are coming up with a concept, you don't have the backing. So we would like to hear from the person who's been in the industry for a very long time and practicing Retakaful. So what's the position, what's the capacity at the moment, and your views in general on the Takaful?